The transport pod hissed open, releasing a cloud of crystalline vapor into the docking bay. Stella emerged slowly, her iridescent skin shimmering under the harsh fluorescent lights of the human outpost. Her forefingers trembled as she clutched the imperial decree against her chest, the holographic seal of the Vextheri Empire glowing faintly through the translucent material. Jeremiah stood at the receiving platform, datapad in hand, expecting another diplomatic package or trade manifest. What he wasn't expecting was her, barely 5 feet tall, with large amber eyes that seemed to hold entire galaxies within them, and delicate antennae that drooped with what he could only interpret as nervousness. She began, her voice barely audible above the hum of the station's life support systems. She took a breath, her chest rising and falling in a rhythm distinctly different from human respiration. The Emperor sent me to be his wife. Jeremiah blinked, then blinked again. His datapad clattered to the metal floor. I'm sorry, what? Stella's skin flushed a deeper shade of violet. Embarrassment, he would later learn. The Emperor of the Vextheri has sent me as a bride for the human called Jeremiah Chun. For diplomatic alliance. Her antennae curled inward, a gesture of submission. The treaty requires, hold on. Jeremiah raised both hands, his mind racing. There's been a mistake. A huge mistake. I'm just a maintenance engineer. I fix air recyclers and patch hull breaches. I'm not. I can't. But even as he protested, he was looking at her. Really looking at her. And what he saw wasn't just an alien being delivered like cargo. He saw the way her fingers trembled, the way she couldn't quite meet his eyes. The imperial collar around her slender neck that marked her as property, not a person. Something hot and furious ignited in Jeremiah's chest. Let me see that decree, he said quietly. Stella hesitated, then extended the shimmering document. Jeremiah scanned it quickly, his jaw tightening with each line. It was all there, the treaty clause, the gift of a noble daughter, the expectation of producing hybrid offspring to cement the alliance. She was being traded like livestock. How old are you? He asked. 20 cycles. In your years, 17. 17. She was 17 years old. Jeremiah crumpled the holographic decree in his fist, watching it dissolve into sparking fragments. Stella gasped, her eyes widening in terror. You can't. That's an imperial. I don't care what it is. Jeremiah's voice was steel. You're not property. You're a person. And I'm not participating in whatever medieval nonsense your emperor thinks passes for diplomacy. Stella's antennae shot upright in shock. But the alliance. Your people need the Vextheri trade routes. The emperor will be offended. He could what? Declare war. Jeremiah laughed bitterly. Let him try. Humans didn't crawl out of Earth's gravity, well, just to start buying and selling people again. We left that ugliness behind centuries ago. For a long moment, Stella simply stared at him. Then, something unexpected happened. A single tear, crystalline and luminescent, rolled down her cheek. No one has ever. She swallowed hard. No one has ever said I was a person before. Jeremiah's anger transformed into something gentler. He knelt down to her eye level, careful to keep his movements slow and non-threatening. Listen to me, Stella. That's your name, right? When she nodded, he continued. You have a choice here. If you want to go back, I'll arrange transport. If you want to stay, not as anyone's wife, but as a refugee seeking asylum. Humanity has laws about that. Good laws. We'll protect you. Protect me. The concept seemed foreign to her. From the Emperor? From anyone who tries to treat you like property. That's what humans do. He stood, extending his hand to her, not as a master to a slave, but as an equal to an equal. We're stubborn like that. Stella looked at his hand for a long moment. In Vextheri culture, touching hands was reserved for the most intimate of bonds. But this wasn't about Vextheri culture anymore. This was about choosing her own path. She placed her small hand in his. I would like to stay, she whispered. If that's truly allowed. It's allowed. It's encouraged, even. Jeremiah smiled. Welcome to human space, Stella. You're free now. Over the following weeks, Stella learned what freedom meant. She learned that humans asked her opinion, not her obedience. She learned that Jeremiah lived in a small hab unit filled with books and music, not a palace, and he seemed perfectly content. She learned that he truly had been a maintenance engineer, not some high-ranking official, which made his defiance of the emperor even more remarkable. She also learned that the Vextari Empire had indeed been furious. Trade negotiations collapsed, diplomatic channels went cold, and humanity's response, they didn't care. One person's freedom, the Human Alliance Council declared publicly, is worth more than all the trade routes in the galaxy. Stella watched the broadcast from Jeremiah's hab unit, tears streaming down her face. Behind her, Jeremiah was making dinner, something called spaghetti, and humming tunelessly. "Hey, Stella," he called from the kitchen. "How do you feel about tomato sauce?" "I forgot to ask if your species can eat." "Jeremiah," she interrupted, turning to face him. "Why did you do it? Why risk everything for someone you didn't know?" He set down the wooden spoon, his expression serious. "Because that's what humans do. When we see someone being treated as less than they are, we can't just stand by. It's in our nature, for better or worse." He smiled softly. "Besides, you deserve better than being someone's diplomatic gift basket." Stella crossed the room and, in a gesture she'd seen humans do, wrapped her arms around him in what they called a hug. Jeremiah stiffened in surprise, then gently returned the embrace. "Thank you," she whispered against his shoulder, "for seeing me as a person." "Always," he replied. "That's the human way." Outside the viewport, stars wheeled in their eternal dance. The Vextari Empire was out there somewhere, vast and powerful. But in this small hab unit, in this moment, one young alien woman had discovered something more powerful than any empire. The stubborn human refusal to accept that anyone, anywhere, should be treated as less than free. And that, Stella thought, was worth more than all the stars in the sky.